something yesterday. We were talking about the genres that were in that format of just a string separated by a pipe, and I tried to do something with that. It's very much about pre-processing. I didn't really get very much to apply a classifier to it. I did it just to do it, but it didn't come up with very much as was to be expected, actually. I just need to go to repository. Yeah, for me, it was quite a revelation to use the Jupyter notebook. As I said, Katie already said we started off with some Python scripts, so something like that, that then outputs another CSV, where we split up the genres, for example. And after a while, so yeah, maybe say a bit about my progression. So we did the labs in this class, and that was really good to get an impression. But there was also a point where, and Julian might remember that I was a bit frustrated because I thought, I can't get my head around the documentation for all this, and for me it was quite an important step to go back and then do some tutorials and go back to the basics and understand what does pandas actually do, what does NumPy do, because I didn't know any of these packages, and to learn about the data structures, the data frame and series and so on, and it was a nice experience for that to all become clearer. And then I thought, instead of writing the scripts, I'll try and do it in the notebook, and that's actually quite nice because you can run things again and again and go back and so on. And then I came to a point, I got this frustration here because let me scroll through this. I thought, that's so nice, I will try and play around with those genres, and because you can, if you take, there's a method called location, and you can then, within the script, filter out certain rows and so on, and then I couldn't get that to work with the genres, because for some reason it always gave me this key error. Maybe Julian, you can explain later why this didn't work. But basically I then did what we had started out doing and separated all the, I separated out all, you can see here, so we have, instead of having one column that has all the genres, we had a column for each genre, and then a 1 and a 0 depending on whether the film is in that genre. And that made things a lot easier. Then I could, this was just playing around. I looked at the duration and I thought, can I do something with it? I had this CSV I used here. Unfortunately, I had duration as the only, duration and iMDB score as the only numerical continuous values, and I was running out of time. Otherwise, I think it's a good idea to encode the PG rating for the rating, but I didn't do that anymore. And then as I said, for me, I think the big thing was to see I can take some data in a CSV and I can investigate the data, I can play around with it. There's all kinds of methods. I can have the columns, I can let me tell it how many rows or whatever. You can, with this notebook, learn a lot about your data. So I'm actually curious if I'm going to use that in the future. Like if I ever need to do something with data, I can just put it in here and look at it, even if I don't do machine learning in the end. yeah, because this question came up, what to do with the genre, and I really don't know if this makes sense, but in the end I decided to do put the films in 4 broader categories, and this is all a bit arbitrary, but basically I created a dark category, a light category, and a factual, so that was like biography, documentary, history, and I also made sure that each film is only in one of those. So I started with I mean, some of these were cannibalizing on the others, of course, and it all depends what you do first. Yeah, okay. But yeah, in the end I had each film in one of those categories, and then I plotted some things. So this is a box plot, and it's interesting, the factual, because we saw before that documentary actually didn't get that high ratings, but if you add, I think it might be biography that makes up for that, but actually all these together seem to have higher iMDB scores, and then I plotted it like that as well. This is what yeah, it's just playing around. And then I applied 8 years later just to do something, and it came back with very little. And but yeah, I just wanted to show that as one way of pre-processing, and yeah, it would be good to get some feedback. And yeah, and I also wanted to say thank you, because it was really eye-opening. Yeah, I really liked it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but yeah, thank you. Okay.